I've called this message, Are We Following Jesus Really? Remember what he said, come follow me. I believe that you can learn from me. More than that, I believe you can do what I do. More than that still, I believe you can become who I am. Imagine Jesus's all over Woodbridge, Ipswich, East Anglia. Now we'd be talking, wouldn't we? Imagine Jesus's everywhere. Following Jesus means people, not programs. When Jesus set out to transform the world, he didn't set up a program. He didn't run a course. He didn't organize an event. He didn't even do an Alive weekend. What a missed opportunity. Don't misunderstand me. I lead a church that's full of programs and events and all of that stuff. But when Jesus set out to transform the world, he chose 12 guys and he poured literally his life into those 12 men. It was very personal. It was very people-focused. And when Jesus wasn't with the 12, just alone, which was at least half his ministry, if not more, then he would sometimes be out with the crowds. But even in all the other stories that we have, you cannot fail to notice how personable, how relationally led Jesus was. Think of all the people that he engaged with. A thief, a prostitute, a blind man, a rich young ruler, a religious leader, a fisherman, a child, a housewife, a mother, an invalid. It's all there, and he reaches out to each and every one. John's Gospel, perhaps just 20 chapters of John's Gospel, all about meeting different individuals and relating to them. What was Jesus saying? He was saying that the gospel travels through relationships. He was saying that relationships are the absolute fundamental priority if we are to see the gospel spread and the transformation of the world as a result. Relationships strong enough to carry faith. Typical church. And it's okay to talk about typical church because that's some imaginary church over there that'll be nothing like your church. Okay, so typical church has become spellbound by the drumbeat of relationships and events. Look on any church website and it's full of the things that they are doing, and you will know if you've been in church for more than 5 minutes that there's an army of people giving the best years of their lives to making all that happen. You tracking? Hello? Yeah, you still here. Okay. Imagine typical church has a discussion about reaching their neighborhood. I can guarantee you that typical church will come up with an event to respond to the need of reaching their neighborhood. If it's in the summer, they will do a barbecue. At least that's what they'll do in Ipswich. In Woodbridge, they'll do a hog roast. See how I did that in Ipswich? In the winter, they'll do something in their buildings that they think is so different and exciting that the people outside will be drawn into this totally different thing to what they normally do. People in the church, especially the mission types. Have you got any mission types in your church? Not doing enough mission, more mission. The mission types will be well excited. Because suddenly, your church, the church, typical church, which is nothing like ours, is suddenly doing something about mission. And the plans will get underway. Hours of time planning, dates, flyers, tasks, deadlines, loads to organize. The barbecue, sausages, bunting. Have you noticed now every event needs bunting? What's that all about? It's like sofa cushions, totally pointless. What are they all about? Bunting, lights, drinks, onions, ketchup, music, and then the running of the event. The day will come, and there will be much excitement. People will arrive really early. The church will be decorated, the doors will be flung open, the music will be turned up, the face painting will be ready, the bouncy castle will be inflated. Let's go. And to be fair, people will come if you do that well. And what we have learned in church in recent years is to do things well, praise God. Say goodbye to some of the terror. Oh, it's cringy, some of the things we used to do, don't you think? But we do things well, and people will come, and it will be, don't misunderstand me, it will be a fantastic event. The last guest will leave, your church will look like Armageddon, you'll clear up, you'll crawl home into bed with a happy heart. And there will be lots of energy in your church because we've had this successful time of mission, and people will already be planning the next one. Those mission types again. Let's get the date in the diary. There is a fatal flaw. If the gospel is passed on through relationships, then we need to get to know people. And we need to get to know people well enough to carry the truth of the gospel. That's more than a casual acquaintance. But we didn't get to know people, really, even at our missional event, because all our best people were serving coffee and cooking food and washing up and clearing away. Our natural bent is to organize events and programs. That's how we've been trained. And we do it so well. But it could actually be stopping us doing what we really desperately need to do. Most churches, my church included, will keep the average member way too busy to do what Jesus did in building relationships and the way that he did it. We have the privilege of being connected with a church in Romania, and so sometimes I'm out in Romania. I remember one of the visits, I got off the plane and we went straight to the church because they had the service on the Thursday night to tell the testimonies of the people that were going to be baptized on the Sunday, because there were 17 of them, and it just takes too long on a Sunday morning, even by Romanian standards. So this whole service was geared around these 17 baptismal candidates telling their story. Now, it was all in Romanian, so I couldn't understand a word of it, except what the interpreter was whispering in my ear, and he was summarizing in order just to help me keep up and keep me awake and so on. And in his brief summary, each time, there was always a friend. It was always someone who'd reached out, got alongside, spent time, built relationship. Relationships are the priority. People, not programs, if we're going to be serious about following Jesus.